guys, what is up? My name is Megan and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I hope you guys are doing well and staying safe, and welcome to today's video, which is one I'm so incredibly excited to be filming, and that, my friends, is a review for the Chronicles of Whetherwhy, the Age of Enchantment by Anna James, which is the first book in an all-new middle grade series. And listen very closely when I say it is now an equal favorite to Skandar and the Unicorn Thieves, for very different reasons, but I did not think it was in the cards for me in 2024 to find a middle grade book that I loved as dearly and will recommend as much as I do Skandar, and I am so completely giddy inside to be able to tell you this and tell you I am obsessed, and obsessed is probably an understatement. This book is everything. So this will be a video of me yapping in a spoiler-free manner and talking about what this book is about, why I love it so much, and me influencing you to pick up the book and read it, essentially. So without further ado, let's hop on in. I will start by saying that this book is perfect to read at any and all seasons. It definitely feels like a fall book, but we go through pretty much every season in this book, and this book has a lot to do about seasons. So in this story, we follow Juniper and Rafferty. I am struggling to say his name, so I call him Raff. They are siblings, and they live in a world where everybody has a little bit of magic, and the magic is all affiliated to the 4 different seasons. Now, everybody in this world, when they are 13, they have to go through this kind of evaluation to evaluate their level of magic, to confirm their affiliation to a season, and to detect if there are any enchanters. Enchanters are people who have greater power and are essentially able to use powers of all different seasons, and that makes them obviously a lot more powerful. Now, and this is not a spoiler, very early on in the book, we learned that Juniper is an enchanter, but her brother, Rafferty, or Raff, who is like her twin, her best friend, her person, is not. And that kind of creates an issue because Juniper is sent to Thistledown Academy, which is the academy for new enchanters, and her brother obviously cannot go, and so he stays behind. The story really develops in 2 different ways and is told in such an interesting manner because at the beginning of this book, we meet a grandfather who is telling, or a great-grandfather who is telling this story to children, and throughout the book we get interludes, and we also get Juniper's perspective and Raff's perspective. So we do shuffle around a little bit like we do in Pages & Co, and I thought that familiarity of writing multiple main characters, having all of them be intertwined in a story and not having one character be more important than the other is so like Anna James, and I was very happy to see that it is also in the Chronicles of Whetherwhy, because at first I was convinced for some reason we were only going to follow Juniper, but we don't. And their stories are really interesting because they go in 2 separate ways. Now, these 2 children who are inseparable, love each other more than anything, are their person. You know, when you have that one person, they are that to each other. They've never been separate for more than a day. But then they have to go and be separate because Juniper has to go to this academy to learn about her powers and become an enchanter, and Rafferty has to stay with his family, and their family has a bookbindery, which I thought was so cool. They bind books, and they use, obviously, their magic to perfect their craft. However, the story really takes off when Rafferty also decides to leave the family home and go and take this apprenticeship with another family to get closer to Juniper. I almost called her Tilly. Now, this is a story of good and evil and making choices logically but also based on emotion. This book touches a lot on the unfairness that some people are gifted with all of this magic and other people just get this tiny bit. And so this inequality obviously creates a lot of frustration and is born of secret society. And that creates a lot of drama, and this is an extremely high stake books, and I would say that this is one of the darkest middle grade books I've read. Not that like people are getting killed and murdered everywhere and like dark in that sense, but the themes and the action in this book is a lot more hardcore than I'm used to in middle grade, and I was clutching my pearls. I was afraid for the characters, and I had no idea where this was going, and by the end I was like, this cannot end the way I think it's going to end. Like, what is happening? There is so much intrigue and mystery and action, and it's based on like plants, and there's just so much going on. And obviously I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but just know that this book has stuff happening from start to finish, and this is only the first book in a series, and with the way it ended, I'm like, hold on a minute here. Where are we going with this? And I cannot like fathom having to wait like a year for another book in this series. Now, I will say, obviously, 1,000,000 stars. My favorite things in this are the characters, the magic, and the plot and world building. I think each and every single one of those elements were extremely well done in this book. I think that all the characters are likable. Obviously, Juniper makes her own set of friends at the academy. Raph makes a friend at the bindery, and I think it was very interesting to see how the contrast between the siblings and the friends that they end up with was executed in this book, and I think there's a lot of value in the friendships and the personal growth that each of our main characters go through while being separate, and the impact that that has when it brings them together. There's a lot of sketchy people in here. Not everybody's moral compass is fixed right, and I loved seeing that how that had an impact on our characters, because we need to remember these are young children. They are very easy to influence, and I found that the outcomes in this book were extremely realistic. This book to me is kind of a mashup of Nevermore and like a few other middle grade books in that vein, because of the magic school, because of the fighting off the evil, because of the responsibility of having a lot of power and how that is unfair and unequal. And I really love the way the book touches on inequality while using its characters. I think that was done fantastically. I do think the magic really makes sense in this book as well. I feel like the magic of seasons and the way they were described and the use of each season made a lot of sense, because in this, as I said, we have the 4 different seasons, and each season kind of gives different abilities and different gifts to the people who have them, and they all made so much sense, because like I never thought of like what kind of magic powers would I associate with summer, but this book is like straight dab on it, and it just made sense. And the way that this book incorporates the power and the way that the skills are taught to the children are very hands-on and are related to things that we do in our everyday life. And there's a lot of like don't abuse magic for like simple tasks in here, and I really love the magical elements. I love the teachers, I love the school, I love the like overall vibe of what the magic is in this world. And I will say the plot is absolutely outstanding. We go from the characters learning what they are to traveling, and you actually get some action with the travels, which I was super excited about, and that's kind of where it started reminding me of Nevermore. And then you get them like acclimating to the school and the bindery, and then you get boom straight into the action some more. And throughout that you get to learn about our characters and you get to learn about the magic, and it was so flawless in the way it was executed. I have zero complaints with this book. The audio is fantastic, the outcome realistic, the pacing 100% right on. I think everything in this book is done to perfection. There are also illustrations, there are magical beings, there are magical beasts, there are like dark and nitty-gritty corners. Now, I will say, if you are someone who like wants like, oh my god, like what is happening in this book, probably not the book for you, because there is a lot of that feeling with this book, which I loved. And overall, I just think this is one of the most well-crafted middle grade books I've read in my entire life. This, for me, 110 surpasses the Pages and Co. series, and the Pages and Co. series is like tattooed on my heart forever. I will love that series to whatever end, but this is it, folks. Like, this is the top in middle grade. Like, this is the level you want to be at. Anna James is the queen, and I just, wow, I am rambling in this video because there's just so much that happens. Like, it left my jaw dropped. I'm obsessed with this. I am sorry this is chaotic. I have tried to like put together thoughts, but this is just too incredible, and I honestly feel the way I feel with Skandar with this book. My love runs deep. I would reread this in a second. I just really am shook to the core with how much I enjoyed this. I knew I was going to love it, but never as much as I did end up loving it, and so I would highly recommend. I know this is out in the UK, but technically not out in the US and Canada yet. It comes out in November, so please pick up a copy when it comes out because you guys don't want to miss this. It's wonderful, and the audiobook just makes the experience even better. So that's it for my little chatty. Please pick up this book. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. If you want to discuss this book, DM me. I will gladly chat with you guys because there's so much I want to scream about. But I will not do it here because it's too much of a new release to do a spoiler-filled review. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon with another video. Bye guys, happy reading.